Dead Candy. Dedicated entertainment for the dead.
Spoiler alert, Slash's Paradise encourages viewers to watch these horror films before listening to our show. Danny and Lance will go through everything, including filmmaking, dialogue, characters, and even full scene breakdowns when we get excited. Enjoy the show.
Yeah. That's why I think actually cotton candy can strangle you in your sleep.
That's definitely not possible.
I mean, it is. Have you ever seen it being made? I mean, how do I know that's not an actual living organism?
It's cotton candy. It's very soft, easy to chew.
Okay, so then
you don't even chew it, but...
Well, then eat your shirt if it's cotton and it's easy to chew.
Yeah, but it's different. It's sugar, but it's pretend cotton.
Pretend cotton, so just call it pretend sugar candy.
It's exactly.
Whoa!
What the hell was that?
Did you see that?
I saw that.
A shooting star just passed over the Slasher's Paradise.
That's cool. Did you make a wish?
I mean, of course I made a wish. Let's go check it out.
The thing's like 1,000 miles away.
No, it's maybe like, I don't know, 100 feet. What's the worst that's going to happen? We're going to find out that it's not a shooting star and it's actually a spaceship disguised as a big top circus, and the aliens are disguised as killer clowns from outer space.
Oh, yep.
Oh!
It's Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Welcome to Slash's Paradise. That's Danny. I'm Lance.
That is correct. And we're talking, folks, about the wonderful cult classic that is Killer Klowns
from Outer Space.
Killer Klowns
from Outer Space.
P.T. Bottom said it how long ago? Killer Klowns. What's wrong?
Nothing. There's nothing wrong, Danny.
There's nothing
Killer
wrong.
Klowns from Outer Space, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Okay, let's go.
Seems like a far-fetched idea. I'm sure it is, Lance.
Can't wait for the pumpkin spice latte tonight. That's all I gotta say.
You know, it's one of those things where you think about all the B movies of yesteryear, and they'll be like, yeah, it's alien invaders from Planet X, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. This sounds like one of the ones that was never supposed to get greenlit, and yet it did. Passion project.
Yes.
From a group of brothers that believed in each other and made a film that became not only a cult classic, but a very popular franchise today.
And it continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point now where we're getting a video game.
I believe in their wildest dreams, the Kyoto brothers would never have imagined that they would be at this point with this movie.
The definition of cult classic at this point. I mean, the budget is extremely low. We'll get to that in a minute. The rewards, the box office was insane compared to that sort of budget and what was done on this film. The fandom, I am still looking to be convinced. I've seen the movie a few times. I watched it recently. I don't have bad things to say about it, but I am trying to get the hype. I'm trying to understand the hype, and Danny's here to educate me and everyone else.
Well, I'll say this. I've always said at different times in this podcast, different strokes for different folks, watch it yourself, formulate your own opinion. And that still holds true, folks. That still holds true. But what I will say more so than not is that I believe it matters when you saw this movie. So
okay.
When was the first time you saw it?
Probably Monsters HD. A long time ago. I was probably like 20, 21, 22.
Monsters HD.
Yeah. We actually talked about this recently.
The Joe Bob thing?
No, it wasn't Joe Bob. It was like the original AMC.
Oh.
It was when everything was originally converting to HD for the first time.
Got it.
And there was a channel about just that. I think it was on Dish Network or something like that. So
beautiful. There is a channel, I believe, as well called it started Chiller. I think it was called
Chiller. Yeah.
But Monsters HD. That sounds. Oh, this is why I'm thinking of Joe Bob, because Joe Bob's thing was called Monster Vision.
Oh, yeah.
That was why
Monster
I thought
Vision.
about that.
I think Monsters HD, you kind of discovered this when we talked about it, was the first incarnation of what Shudder is today, because it was AMC owned. But it was just the first time that all these movies were coming over to HD, Blu-ray, and all that kind of stuff, but digitized. So that's what Monsters HD was. I'm pretty sure that's when I watched it. So it was like a Twilight kind of time, late night maybe. And I was committed to watching all these movies and learning what horror was, why all these movies were popular. It's probably the first time I saw like Evil Dead and all those movies all at the same time. So a lot of 80s, maybe B movies that are now cult classics. That's where I was at.
I'll say, man, I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is the Killer Klowns from Outer Space episode of Slasher's Paradise.
It is.
But if I can please, for one hot, beautiful second, step out real quick. Oh, man. I love when Fear Fest starts running ads on AMC.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I get so pumped because it almost feels like it rides a crisp air. You know what I'm saying? Let's go there. I have such great memories of my mom and I watching Fear Fest, hanging up, because we did Halloween decorations, but we never like fully decked out the house like we could have. But I'll never forget this one. I've talked about this maybe last year or 2 years ago, whenever one of our first episodes of The Slasher's Paradise, when I was talking about we were hanging like ghosts from one of the like oak trees.
Of course.
And it's just like, I just remember like being done, walking in with mom, and there was like a crisp air just kind of riding through. The golden hour was set, it was like the sun was setting, and then it was like AMC Fear Fest. It just like felt like Children of the Corn was like the thing that was playing at that time. So like the fact that you brought up Monsters HD that converted into Shudder. Shudder is AMC. AMC does Fear Fest. That's kind of like where my mind went. I get so, if I could just bottle that, I would drink it all year.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful feeling, especially for some people who are a fan of the season, right?
Yep.
And I do believe that, you're right. Killer Klowns was probably one of the success stories from a lot of these programs. A lot of movies, I believe, kind of have that sort of that testament that they probably gained more notoriety in the future or since being a part of like Fear Fest or Monsters HD or, it's Friday the 13th. I mean, Friday the 13th has a lot of its popularity is because they used to run marathons on all the Friday the 13th. So I'm sure this movie isn't the only one that has gained that sort of extra traction from like a Fear Fest or something like that.
Yeah. And I already mentioned it, but the fact that it's blowing up more now in 2022, this is 34 years later. I feel like it's more popular now than it was then. And it was still somehow super popular. It made a theatrical release, limited as it was, but worldwide, the world said, yeah, we'll take that. Thank you very much. Let's get to housekeeping before we move too far. We have a game here in Slasher's Paradise called Slash Word. Danny's going to tell you all how it works.
Slash Word, folks, is the Slasher's Paradise version of the popular game Password, where when you hear the slash word being said, please take a drink of your choosing. And it can be what Lance and I like to always have featured here in the Slasher's Paradise, a nice little blended Canadian, which we're going to drink right now. If you've listened to the promo, that's actually Lance's, which is very crisp. It's so choice, by the way.
Thank you.
If you do hear the slash word said, please take a drink. It can be alcoholic. It does not have to be, but we just ask that you play along and have fun.
That's what it's all about here at Slasher's Paradise. For Slash Word, we always have a special guest caller giving the Slash Word to our viewers and listeners. And usually it's from the horror world, always from the Hollywood cinematic universe. So, Danny, who do we have today giving the Slash Word?
You know, Lance, it's funny that a lot of times when we have the Slash Word, the caller is calling in for something that they're not a part of, perhaps, or connected to.
No,
the movie we're talking about.
No, not at all.
Oh, does that change today? Because, folks, calling in today is none other than the beloved, the wonderful, the Pooh Bear owning.
Oh. Bear.
Farmer Gene Green is going to be calling in with the Slash Word for tonight.
Mean Gene Green. All right. Mean Gene Green, you're on the line. Please give everyone our Slash Word. Remember, folks, we will not hear this. This is all for you guys. So we're not conscious trying to get you drunk out there. Mean Gene, give us the Slash Word of the night, please.
What in tarnation is going on here, guys? I'm here to give you the Slash Word, and the Slash Word is clowns. Oh, there's gonna be clowns. There's popcorn and cotton candy. Let's go, Pooh.
All right. Thank you very much.
Heck yeah.
More housekeeping. Danny. Oh, I can't wait for this. Give us our very basic breakdown of Killer Klowns from Outer Space, our pumpkin spice latte. Go ahead.
Pumpkin Spice Latte for Killer Klowns from Outer Space by Danny Gonzalez. And here it is. A group of aliens disguised as clowns terrorize a small town. And there's your pumpkin spice latte.
Oh my God.
There it is.
You killed the one thing I was looking forward to most in this entire show. You destroyed it. How fucking dare you? I swear.
That's it, Lance.
To
a
God.
group of aliens disguised as killer clowns attack a small town.
Much. I hate it.
I don't understand what the problem is. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe how about this? A little bit more spice on it. Here it goes.
Some nutmeg. Let's go.
Let's a race of aliens disguised as killer clowns invade a small town on Earth and try by means of capturing them in cotton candy cocoons and in other ways to be able to harness them, kill them, eat them, drink them, and otherwise take over this whole small town. These killer clowns that are from outer space are clowns only by appearance, but are actually aliens. And will this small town filled with quirky people survive? We don't know, because these are the killer clowns. How's that?
Much better. Thank you.
welcome.
You've appeased me.
You're welcome.
The movie was released May 27th, 1988 on a budget of 1.8 to 2 million adjusted. The box office, worldwide box office, $43 million, $43.5 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like 43.6 or something like that. So
That is
just
outstanding.
Stacking numbers. Most of it was actually worldwide. I think US was about 12 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Still a good day at the office.
It was written by the Kyoto brothers, Stephen and Edward and Charles, my buddy. Charles is the name of my dog, by the way. And
Yes.
we're going to get to that in a fucking minute. Starring Curtis Mooney.
John Vernon.
John Verdon. Oh, right. Thank you. Curtis Mooney is the name of the character. That's where we're at. Christopher Titus is of note. Anyone else that's worthy of being mentioned?
Yeah, you got Grant Kramer and John Nelson, who play Mike and Dave. And then, of course, Suzanne Snyder, who is Debbie. Might as well mention the Terenzi brothers, Miguel Siegel and Peter Lakazi. But yes, that's It's a small cast.
And Mr. Tobacco,
Yeah.
How did you not mention that name?
Grant Kramer plays Mike Tobacco.
Oh, perfect. Mike Tobacco.
Oh, you're going to hear about Mike.
All right. Well, business is taken care of.
What is one of the taglines that you remember? Do you remember any of the taglines? I don't
remember the taglines. You are all about the taglines.
I love taglines. Folks, I'm going to make a staple here. I'm going to plant my flag. I think Lance is annoyed with it, but it's okay because that's no. It's a fun dynamic and I appreciate it. But this actually goes back to me getting started on horror movies, and I am I am influenced hugely by my uncle. Okay. And one of the things that he showed me was I agree, the lost art that is taglines in movies, right? Okay. So I have here, if you have the DVD, if you're watching with us, thank you all so much for tuning in. These are now video.
Yeah.
Back to video.
For October. Yes.
Yeah. For October. But I have on display here the wonderful vinyl cover from Waxwork Records of the score and essentially soundtrack, because there's a little bit of songs mixed in there too, for Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I absolutely love this score. I will get into that here in a little bit. But the lost art that is taglines, I'll say, is one of my favorite things about movies. We know some famous ones, right? In space, no one can hear you scream.
It's the first one I think of. So thank you.
Okay, and that's from what? Alien?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have aliens from outer space, but they're clowns. So they made a tagline that says, "In space, no one can hear you ice scream."
Did the head nod to the camera? Like what's up?
What's up? I didn't do it, but I absolutely love it. You want to know why? Because it set out to be nothing more than what it wanted to be. And what it wanted to be was not taken serious. And that, Lance, I think that's what plays into its popularity today.
And that's why I don't hate the film. Let me get it straight. I do not hate this film. I want to understand why it is so popular. I will say I did the research. I looked into this film. I appreciate the behind the scenes. I appreciate the effort that people put into this film with so little budget and a production company that was like, yeah, just do it. Like, figure it out. We're focused on these other films right now. I want to understand why people are so about this movie. You mentioned a lot of the B-rated movies, the invasion of the bodies or whatever, like
invasion of X creature that has been blown up from Planet X.
It's like the C movies. You know what I mean? Like, that's where this kind of lands in my head off of that synopsis. If you listen to our show, if you watch our show, if you know me personally, you know that this is not my kind of film. I want to understand why it's so loved to the point where it's like mainstream, getting a video game. I want to understand. Danny, tell me why.
Lance, the nerds won is where it's the realm it lives in, is to why this movie is as successful as it is. Why? Every B and C movie start off in a misunderstood, doesn't fit the mold, done by the outcasts of whatever society of the filmmaking industry that they're in. That's how they start. B movies exist and C movies exist in that world. And the horror community is, if nothing else, diverse.
Okay.
So you have an entire community that is in 1988 frothing at the mouth because they are getting content. 88 is a magnificent year for horror movies. It's a
chef's kiss.
Exactly. Yes. Couldn't have put it better. So you get this unsung hero of the year 88 in Killer Klowns from Outer Space. The name in itself should scream direct to video. The name in itself should scream, do not greenlit this movie. And how many folks in the world have ever been told that in their lives? You don't fit the mold. We don't give you the promotion. We don't think you can succeed. And I think because of how much and how outlandish this movie started off. In the title, it says, "We don't give a fuck. We are going to make a movie that is entirely ours, that is entirely funny and cannot be taken serious." And the fans of the horror community responded to it. They said, "Oh, the society, the norm, Hollywood is telling us this is not supposed to succeed. Bullshit. We're going to make it succeed." And that is why. And also, it's not a bad film. It really isn't.
No.
It's hokey. It's cheesy. The premise is fucking ridiculous. But in all, it has ebbs and flows, and it, has a solution. Everything that the Killer Klowns do have that sort of, they're under that veil of what a clown would do that wants to kill you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
It is true to its mission statement. And the horror fans responded to it, and they're saying, "We are not going to let you tell us what we need to say is a success. We will tell you what is a success or not."
I almost imagine that the production company came off as heroes, as like all right, we'll put this in the theater. Like that's kind of the nonchalant, like, whatever. And everyone went, "Oh, you put this in the theater? We'll go watch it, and we're going to love it, and we're going to pay money for it." I mean, the success off of $1.8 million to 43 plus million, like that is a huge gap.
We've seen a success like that in our real time, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Blair Witch Blair Witch actually had a lot more promotion that people give it credit for.
It was in the real world. Again, if you know my side of horror, that's where I live. So I'm
right.
like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This one is a guaranteed B movie with a B movie budget.
I'll argue that as far as bang for my buck, I got more out of Killer Klowns than I did at Blair Witch. But then you got to look at like Paranormal, right? These are things that should not have succeeded. Shot minimally, should not have done the mega box office that they did. And I think Killer Klowns is just a decade, even 2 decades earlier, but still doing the same thing. People will always be misunderstood. People will always be not fitting the mainstream mold, but there will always be an audience for them. And that's what I think is so beautiful about the horror community. It's like, oh, this is awesome. We like this. And we like it even more because you told us not to.
Yeah. And that's, I think, where it is right now is so many people go like, well, I shouldn't like this. Now everyone does. And I'm not being like I'm not being the hipster on this. Like, I just am trying to understand the extreme hype now in 2022 into 2023 was a video game, and everything else coming out is more popular now, I feel, than it ever has been.
Well, this is its.
I get nostalgia sells 100%. This is 1988. This is the year I was born. Like, this is poor Danny. I mean, that was a big year for horror. So I understand that people like my age and Danny's age are starting to be like, oh, this is my jam. This is what I grew up with.
It's one of those things, Lance, that existed in the shadows, right? It existed in,
Huh? Yeah. No, I agree.
Because like it existed in an area where you were like, I had to go find this to watch it. Honestly, it cannot be compared to a lot today because of how readily accessible so much is.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, Killer Klowns, you mentioned the video game. Look at this beautiful pressing that Waxwork did. It's in, to my knowledge, its second year at Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, like, it has an amazing... JoJo's Ice Cream is an actual stand you can go to. Do you understand how crazy that is for me? Because, Lance, I'm in the group, and kudos to and praise to my uncle who actually, he was able to show me a lot of these things. I was like, nobody knows this. I'm like looking around my like school or classroom. I'm like, do you all know? Do you all know? Nobody knows, right? Okay, I'll just keep it to myself. It's Killer Klowns, and I believe Transylvania 65000, which will never be on because like this is an amazing success story.
Yeah.
But because it is so ridiculous, is how it can and it succeeds on the idea or on the fact that it has mascots. it has things you can
Icons.
mass produce.
Yeah.
You can't mass
absolutely.
produce a mask of Jeff Goldblum from Transylvania 65000. You just can't.
No.
But you can mass produce the clowns that are featured in the movie.
Oh,
as far as masks, figurines, you name it.
The logo is just like, the logo's on t-shirts, the ray guns, like the merchandise has just destroyed the economy. You know what I mean? Like fans just flock to it. It's all over the place. You're right. You can merchandise this. The market is huge. So I understand that.
Have I done well?
You've done well. You've convinced me enough on the fans that are into this. What I will say, I did kind of mention it earlier, doing the research on this. This is a movie where people cared and they did what they wanted to do. They were given just enough to get it done. Even to the point where the clowns themselves, these alien clowns, were made by the crew with like no budget whatsoever. It was like the last thing on their minds was the budget for the clowns, and like the producers, the brothers themselves, were making these things out of like tape and glue and shit like that. So I love the care that's behind it. The more that you know about that, the more important this movie actually becomes.
I will never, ever. Anyone who knows me for real knows that the hardest thing for me to do is tout my own success. I hate doing that. But I will say that from what you just said, there is a reality to that in the sense of we put our own shit on. We make our shit. We put it out there. We hope y'all enjoy it. It's all labors of love, but it's a good crew who are good at what they do and put out quality products and take pride in that. So I can only imagine. And by the way, I'm talking about things like Sally's Twisted Kitchen and Go Show and anything else.
The exercises.
The exercises that you could view on the Dead Candy YouTube page. All that being said, folks, to be honest and sincerely, there is a pride in I'm going to do by hook or by crook. I'm going to make what has been tasked to me to do. Oh, you want me to make a killer clown mask? You want me to make a creature that looks this way? Bet I'm on it. And it's so funny because I think it's Trick or Treat who does the mass production of their masks.
Recently, yes.
Yeah, okay. So recently you'll see these masks and you're like, dang, these look just like the movie. Think about that. Think about the fact that like folks back in 1988 and probably honestly 87, 86 from concept were just like, okay, this is what I got to do. The eyes are articulate. The mouth is, I'm in the dark with that shit, which is why like, we are still on the tail end of wrapping up our Friday the 13th franchise. Right. And a lot of things that was funny to me about Friday the 13th Friday the 13th Part 4 is the fact that Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, takes this dude up to it. He's like, look at all these things that I made in my room. And I'm like, bullshit.
No.
I was making barely.
You're a millionaire if you're doing that. And a genius.
Fully articulate, fully crazy sculptures and masks and stuff like that. And when you see, because like honestly, the faces that the clowns make, the sound or whatever, like that could be done obviously post, and like you could be as creative as you want when anything gets off screen. Yeah. But on screen you have, their mouths are moving, their faces are changing, and they do not look like you. If that was a clown that was at the circus, I'd be like, what's wrong with that clown? That clown is smoking day and night and never took a bath. Or I don't know. Just like there's something off. Just a little things off. So it's like I applaud. And that's essentially the point I'm trying to make is I applaud immensely the pride that the crew took in creating these creatures.
Yes. The acting is kind of crazy all over the place in a mostly good way. We got to get down to the movie itself.
Let's get into the movie, Lance.
Yes. Okay. So our opening of the show was kind of the opening of like a comet lands on Earth. in this small town. I forget what the town's name is. I think
nice little soft landing, might I add.
Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah, nice little soft landing. It comes in like a bat out of hell. It comes in a burning flame of fire and just kind of like, I go here. Just kind of like sits.
And everyone's interested. Everyone that actually saw it, but that's only a few people, actually.
Well, it's everyone that's up at the makeout point.
That's true.
Everybody's getting down up there. Did you all have a spot in your hometown?
We did. Yeah, we did.
Ours was just called like, oh my God, I didn't even dissect this until this moment. And I swear this is not going to be a tangent. I promise I'll get off of this really quick. But our road where everyone kind of went to get like private time was literally called Church Lane.
Oh, no.
So you had to actually say, I was on Church Lane doing things that were not accepted by the church. Anyway.
Ours was, I mean, growing up, it was always in movies, it was called The Point.
The Point.
The Point. You go to the point, you make out, you know, have some fun with a friend. I think ours like had a name, but it was just like people remembered the movies more and just called it The Point.
Damn.
But it actually looked over all the city lights of two towns.
That's not fair, man. I'm getting FOMO of your...
The weird part was that it was technically in a residential zone, but it was a turnaround. It was like obviously made to look out and make out. I don't know.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
Crescent Cove, by the way.
Thank you.
Is the name of the small town.
I could see the sign. I could not put the words together, but you know what? There's one scene where it says Crescent Cove and I was like, okay. So not only people that are making out at the point, but a farmer named
Farmer Gene Green.
Mean Gene Green.
And there's going to be cotton candy. And he sees this.
Oh, man.
Okay. Time out. I can relate. It sucks. Okay. It doesn't suck. But folks, if I can please take you on a quick journey of where I grew up. I grew up in a small town in South Texas, and my family and I were blessed to have a ranch. And this ranch has from the main highway, a long road that leads up to, and we were fortunate enough to be at the end of road. Okay. There have been times when I was growing up, it was always like I was always with my dad, and like it was like we weren't gonna leave the ranch. Obviously, he wasn't gonna leave the ranch without me. Like we were gonna leave together, right? As I grew up and was driving myself and going overnight and being whatever, you know, there is a desolate sort of like silence, aloneness to being out in the middle of the country, knowing full well that multiple miles have to be traveled for you to come into contact with the closest person. Yes, there were neighboring ranches around and there may have been folks who were there, but it didn't feel that way, honestly. Farmer Gene Green is just sitting on his porch, okay, with his dog, Pooh. And Lance and I are probably going to have a moment, but Pooh Bear is just the best boy sitting with Farmer Gene Green. And besides the folks that are on the point, Farmer Gene sees the comet shooting star the closest. And boy, it's Farmer Gene Green and Stephen King in Creepshow as far as like folks who are going to have that internal dialogue.
That's a good point. I love that.
Yeah. So it's just like he gets so excited. He's like, oh, and I've been in, did I just shut down? I've been in times by myself as far as human accompaniment because, you know, it's just me and Lubis sometimes. And I just, my day has to go as best as I'm just going to have the conversation with my dog. So I've been where Farmer Gene Green is, but not to that extent. Imagine seeing such a world changing event as like a comet landing in your backyard. And you're just like, how can I navigate this. And of course, it's suggested that Farmer Gene is, he's a simple guy. He doesn't, he wants for just a very little. So he's like, Pooh Bear, there's going to be cotton candy and there's going to be a parade. Everyone's going to come to see the shooting star.
Dude, he has so much hope that this is his break. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. That is actually it. You and Farmer Gene just get so excited for what's to come, except that the goddamn title of the movie is Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Killer.
They're not exploring clowns from outer space.
No.
They're not we come in peace clowns,
No.
Well, Farmer Gene learns really quick that it's not all is as it seems.
No. They go and explore and find out, oh, there's a circus tent where I thought the comet landed. Oh, well, still excited. There's a circus in town. Can't wait to see it. So, Gene, our old buddy and pal, and Pooh Bear go looking for the entrance. Can't find it. Oh, man. I've been emotional for 5 minutes because Danny said the words best boy in speaking about a dog. And I got a goddamn tear in my eye that I can't get rid of.
If I had not stopped talking, I would have collapsed. So I had to keep talking because here's the point. Pooh Bear is Gene's. This is right hand man, right? We don't know how long this has been, but this has been his ride or die for a while. You could tell.
Pooh Bear is a Tennessee bloodhound, hound dog.
I would. Yeah, he's a bird hunting dog. Well, yeah, he's a hound dog.
He's a hound dog for sure. Not sure the exact breed, but I got a beagle who might have a little basset in him. So right away, I'm like, Pooh Bear's my dog. That's my dog. I relate. Don't fuck with Pooh Bear.
Don't fuck with Pooh Bear. But right away,
they fuck with Pooh Bear.
They fuck with Pooh Bear, folks.
And I lost my shit.
Because let me tell you something. Even if you tell us, hey, y'all, these are going to be some killer clowns. Hope you enjoy the ride. I don't give a shit. When the killer clowns do some it's weird, right? We're both obviously dog owners. Our boys are at our feet, literally. They are at our feet, literally.
The best
right?
boys.
Yeah, that is correct. But Gene is trying to find an opening to the circus.
Yeah, he's just excited. He's like, my millions ain't coming, but goddamn, there's a circus in the middle of nowhere, and I'm the first one here. Where do I buy a ticket?
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry. What a beautiful person of a human being.
Just so excited.
Just like, well, that's just the way it goes. But let's see if we can inquire about some free passes. I would give him all the passes, Lance, if I could. I would give him season tickets.
I would give Pooh Bear season tickets.
I'd give
front row seats.
I'd give Pooh Bear my house. I don't even care. Pooh Bear is such a sweet little guy. And you know what happens? A portal opens because there's no door. A portal opens on the side of the tent, which is the spaceship. And they throw a friggin' net on Pooh Bear.
And he just takes it.
It's
like a bop. Over the dog.
I hate it. I hate that scene because I'm like, we know enough. I mean, for sure about what goes on in like filming and stuff. You got to have dog wranglers. If you have dogs, you got to have experts all over the place. That just feels like no matter how trained you are, I don't give a shit. Like, don't throw a net on a dog.
Don't throw a net on a dog. We don't get a confirmation of a kill or anything. It's just
because he didn't. He didn't. They put that on him, but then they let him go. He's fine.
Okay,
just so you know. Actually, call the Kyoto brothers. Pooh Bear's fine.
Oh, thank you.
But
I kind of needed to hear that.
No, actually, but Lance.
But it's just so sad to see the dog get netted in the first place.
It sucks.
That shot, I was like, I actually put on my recent view because I hadn't watched it since I got my Beagle Charles. So it's been a couple years. So seeing that moment, I paused. I was like, I don't know if I can continue.
Well, how do you think I felt in Friday the 13th Part 2 with Muffin?
Oh my God. Poor Muffin.
Loomis is over here. He's fluffy.
He is.
Yeah.
Little guy.
But in any case.
Okay.
Farmer Gene, though, does not. he does not survive.
No,
they get him good with their what we will see as a constant thing, Lance, the entrapment of people in cotton candy cocoons.
All right. Well, I mean, it's a ridiculous title to begin with, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Why not have cotton candy cocoons with humans in them? What are they doing with them? Are they like stripping them of their skin or what?
I would imagine it's
Do they become
like,
alien butterflies? Clown flies?
no. I would imagine it's like when an anaconda swallows a person whole.
Okay.
The inside juices in the inner lining of the anaconda / python, whichever one, they both kind of do this. Boa constrictor. Actually, any snake that does that. There's too many in their name. Anyway, anything that swallows something whole, the bodily juices and acids inside deteriorate it before they can, process it. We definitely see that when these people get put in this cotton candy cocoon, they are, when they're discovered by other people or whatever, and then they start to like, no, let's just see what's in here. Let's peel a layer. They peel a layer and there's always a bloody face that looks like it's being eaten alive, right? And we know this especially because there is a point where a clown, the fat fucking clown that goes in there, looks like a fucking pig. He looks like actually Petey from the Goof Troop.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, he's got a flat top and he's the one that kind of, it's like Bowser, Petey sort of clown. And he's the one that sticks the crazy straw in the, to slurp the blood. Here's the point. At one moment, he's checking other cotton candy cocoons for their ripeness. Lance, are these avocados?
Yeah,
apparently. But he finds one that he likes, sticks the craziest of crazy straws in there, is all twirly and shit.
Clown tropes central, like everything.
But that's what makes the movie work. Anyway,
yeah.
Sticks it in there
agree.
and slurps it out. So that is the point. The cotton candy that they wrap in from their ray gun strips the people of their obviously their bones and their skin and all that stuff. It just disintegrates them to goo that the clowns, essentially alien clowns, can slurp.
Great. Okay.
That is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I just gave you all of that and you just go, great.
Okay. Again, not necessarily my kind of movie.
Don't take it seriously. Put your Jason brain on.
His little brain.
His little brain.
It's a baby brain.
It's a baby. It never developed.
All right, let's get to Mike Tobacco. And
I really fucking wish we wouldn't.
I don't understand this character. He's kind of okay in the beginning until we discover the clowns. Like, he's kind of like, okay, I get the character. I guess he's going to be like our hero, savior. And then he just derails from there.
If there's one thing in this movie that I loathe, it is every time Mike Tobacco talks.
Every time? Not even the beginning, he's okay.
He's fine in the beginning because he's kind of playing it, conservative. All right. So in the point, he's chilling with Debbie, who essentially is the main character woman, because Mike, Dave, and Debbie are essentially those three are the main characters, and you can see them here on the front of the cover. But here's the point: Mike is keeping it together. I don't know what this is. He's got like a Bronco camper, Explorer, Blazer sort of thing.
Yeah,
and he's taken like a full on raft, like that you would be using like on a lake for fishing, or it's like a flotation raft that the planes deploy when people are trying, like, have to make the water landing.
He's an adventurer. He's a rafter.
Not in that fucking raft. That raft looks flimsy as hell.
Okay.
The point is that he has inflated it, laid it down, and him and Debbie are just canoodling in that raft. And for this whole moment, up until you actually see the shooting star, comet, tent, spaceship, he's keeping it together. You're like, I like this guy. He's cool. The love interest of Debbie. This is fine. This is nice. And then this motherfucker just keeps on talking, and I just want to punch him in the face.
His character, his choices, everything he says, he just derails once they find the tent. Like, they find the tent, like, oh, let's go inside. Let's,
I would say he actually derails a little. He fully derails at the tent. But he starts to derail when he does this really cringy thing. Honestly, it's the way it was written. And I don't know. Maybe we'll film it. We'll record me doing the exact same thing, the exact same lines. And maybe I will not do it as cringy as he did.
I might hold you to that.
But he does this thing where so the shooting star, Debbie's the one that's like, hey, I want to go see this. I want to go see this. Kind of like what we did in the intro, right? And he's like, all right, Debbie, we'll go. And then they go up until a point where they can't drive anymore. They have to get on foot because there's a gate, and Mike does this thing where he jumps on top of the hood and says that he's Big Chief and he is doing this tracking thing, and I'm like, this is already cringy. And then he says we have to travel many moons.
It just goes too long.
And he just jumps off, and I'm like, if you are improvising at this moment, you're killing. You're not killing it in a good way. You're destroying it. This is the one where like, cut. All right, back to one, Mike. Just better improv. How can we do that? But maybe that's the way it was written. Who am I to say? I have not written the script, but what I can say is that moment is incredibly cringy. Oh boy, but it jumps for Mike Tobacco immensely, because when the shit hits the fan, he is not the guy you want in your camp.
No, not at all.
I do not want Mike a part of my team when we have to get away from the killer, or in this case, get away from Killer Klowns at all. He's just making me more nervous.
Yeah. The more that you talk about him and the more you say his name, I'm like, oh, they did this on purpose.
Named him Mike Tobacco?
Yeah, because the more you say Mike Tobacco and you speak derogatory of his abilities as an actor, or his choices as an actor. I'm
maybe
like,
his choices,
this was supposed to be a cringy character, because you're going to make the point later about who the actual hero is. He is from, again, the tent on cringe. I can't stand any scene that he's in.
He's got the widest eyes, and he chooses to use all of the space that you can when you open your eyes as wide as you can. Hey, Debbie, let's go check out this tent. Oh, come on. It'll be a blast. Dude, I don't even know how she could stand your ass. Why am I talking about the Terenzi brothers when I could be making out with you?
All right. Back to the movie. They explore the spaceship circus tent. And I will say this is where you actually see the production of the movie. It looks very small scale haunt. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of painted cardboard, a lot of neon, but black. It's obviously shot in like a studio.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think it is. Obviously they did some things on location, like some of the car scenes, obviously. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Rewind really quick. One thing I have to say about the opening of this movie is it immediately reminded me of Ridgemont High. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, I like this. I like this vibe. I like the late 80s. You know what I mean? I'm
with you.
The pure opening. We kind of skipped over it, but
oh yeah, I'm with you. The credits are rolling. They're showing kind of like everyone just having a nice Friday night. It's a Friday night, I think.
I think it is.
And there's people at the diner, the drive-in, the point. Yes.
It gives me Ridgemont High vibes, and I was kind of like, I can get into this. I kind of am starting to remember the movie, but I'm remembering the times even more in those movies and those times. I'm like, okay, Ridgemont High. Okay, cool.
Can we talk about if Fast Times at Ridgemont High is a horror movie? And let me talk about. I'm just joking.
We're not there yet. We're gonna get there eventually.
No, yes. Opening credits. We pretty much see a lot of the characters that are going to be featured. Most prominently, we see Curtis Mooney, played by John Vernon, which, if you're watching the movies, your eyes do not deceive you. That is the superintendent? Dean? That's Dean from Animal House.
Yeah.
Amongst other things.
He's played a ton of different roles starting from like the 60s on to like through the 90s. He's the most recognizable actor to me and probably to most viewers. If you like go and watch him, like, I recognize this guy from something. He played a lot of the same roles over the course of his career. He's actually a really good actor, but this motherfucker goes 0 to 100 in fucking no time.
John Vernon as
my God,
Curtis
dude.
Mooney, Lance, is one of the highlights and my favorite parts of the entire film.
Okay. I understand that.
Yeah, he is, because of what you said, because he goes 0 to 100 in no time. He's just this like, you know, deputy that's been passed. You could tell he's been passed over for promotions. He got into the force for all the wrong reasons,
Yeah,
or the
power trip.
Yeah, he should have retired a long time ago. A lot of things, right? Obviously, he's got a bone to pick with the youth of America. There are some things, some moments in this movie that if John Vernon, as you know, Curtis Mooney, we'll just call him Mooney at this point, because that's how they refer to him a lot in this. From when you meet him on, Mooney is a jerk, but he is very much like an aggressive force. Anyone who has like, there's it's set up that there's a college, and the college is got, kids go to college from out of state, they're coming from out of town. They're like, you aren't the ones who grew up here. So he's always just looking to bust heads. Even so, when he does check in with dispatch as he's doing his rounds, he's like, it's Mooney checking in, and dispatch is like, what do you got, Mooney? And he's like, nothing. Well, it's a Friday night. Something's about to happen. Anyone who says shit like that, and they are just the police, and their purpose is to serve and protect, and you're like, something's gonna happen. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. I'm gonna be looking around. You're like, obviously this guy's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. The one thing that I noticed right away is I feel like the actor watched a lot of horror movie cops. And he is the trope of every horror movie cop, even to the point where you're talking about the college students that end up in the prison or whatever.
They just had a bottle of wine. What's the big idea?
Yeah, we live in this town too. We can live here.
We were just walking in the park with a bottle of wine.
And it's kind of like these punker goth kids, you know what I mean? It's like, just leave them alone. They're just college students in town. That's the thing too, right? It's a small town, but it has a college attached to it. So there is some sort of outside influence. But it's almost like as an actor, he thought, well, they're probably going to take multiple takes and they'll make a cut. He just randomly, it just blows up at one of the punks. It's like, it's you kids that are destroying this town, and just pins him again. It's just out of nowhere.
It is out of nowhere.
Made me laugh out loud, like how intense he is, and it's just like an acting choice. You know what I mean? Like,
well, for sure.
And now's the moment.
I'm sure that was what he was like. You know what? I mean, okay, because look, at this point, John Vernon is an accomplished actor. He's been doing a lot of gigs. He has TV and film under his belt. But here's the point: is that he's probably at this stage, he's thinking, I am in a movie called Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So I'm going to give, if I already didn't, 0 fucks about what I do. They told him this police officer is unhinged, they said. This guy, he's got his own set of rules. The youth of America is pissing him off. Whatever the hell. He was like, say less. I got it.
Oh, man,
I got it. You want to know why? Because I'm going to take it out on the fact that I'm on this film. Okay. If he was the only point of a police force, if he was the only thing we had, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
But we don't. We have another shining star. Quite frankly, Lance, the true hero of the entire film.
Actually, yeah.
Dave Hansen, Deputy Dave Hansen, played by John Nelson. Dave is the real hero. And as we talk about the circumstances between Dave and Debbie and Mike, you're going to be like, that's unconventional, because it is.
Yeah.
However, when we meet Dave pretty much for the first time, it's because Mooney's brought those kids in, those college kids, and he's like ringing them up, and he's like roughing them up, and Dave stands up, and Dave's like, I'm not gonna take his bullshit, okay? Dave's obviously younger, Moody's older, and Mooney says, all right, Mr. Police Academy, and Dave's like, you know what? I already knew it. I knew you had a problem with the way I got my training. But Dave says to him, you know, if you're gonna do what you're gonna do it, but do it according to procedure.
That's right.
I laughed at this part so much because 0 to 100. Okay, take this scene in. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Moody comes in. He's like, oh, you're in Mooney's jail, whatever the hell he says. And then Dave, gets in front of him. He's like, all right, Moody, if you're going to book him to procedure. All right. But if you don't, you and that badge are going to be history. And Mooney is just like, he's on edge, and he's just looking at Dave, and he's like, I'll tell you what's going to be history, Dave. These kids. And he gets back into the kids. It's just a nice pivot. It makes me laugh so much because he goes, you think he's going to go back at Dave because Dave just kind of give him like the fucking business. Yep. And then Mooney goes, these kids. Yeah, let me get back there. And he throws him in the jail anyway. But you're like, okay, Dave is younger, but he's not a bitch. He's not going to take it from Moody, who's obviously the seasoned cop on the force. We learned right away, folks, that Dave has got more connections to our main characters who we've already met.
Yes, Debbie and Mike. He had a relationship with Debbie. Mike swooped in. God help us. Why, Debbie?
Probably the sweater. Honestly.
He's wearing a sweater and the life preserver from Back to the Future.
He's wearing a sweater, the lightest blue jeans I think you can wear, and the whitest Keds.
Keds. He's wearing Keds. Oh my goodness. There's another scene in this where Mike and Debbie go to the police station, are trying to describe what they've seen. The clowns are coming to kill us. This is gonna set up Curtis more. But we see that like Mike is willing to talk to Dave. He understands that Dave is gonna listen to him a little bit.
It's Killer Klowns, cocoons,
and Dave's doing like the pin to the mouth, like, this sounds like bullshit, but you seem very serious.
You think he's also listening because Debbie's there?
And Debbie's there. So that's where his attention is. And Debbie seems to believe it as well. But when Curtis comes in, you see Mike Tobacco. Oh, fuck. He doesn't say, oh, fuck. He just rolls his eyes and is just like, well, there goes my story.
Yeah, because Mooney comes in he's listening to the whole thing and he goes, Killer Klowns from outer space. And it's that Leonardo DiCaprio meme. You point at the TV because he said the title.
I was thinking of Family Guy. Like, I love when they say the title of the movie. It was from The Simpsons as well. Like everyone's made a reference to this when they actually say the entire title of the film. It's amazing.
That is why you are Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Yes. Okay. You know the Family Guy reference. Perfect.
But yes. Mooney is like, wow, Dave, you're gonna listen to this garbage? All right, go ahead and let him make a mockery out of the police department. Mm-hmm. I also love when Mooney is not 100 because he's so eloquent. It's kind of throwing the things over here.
Yeah, and it's right. You're right, because Dave already put him in check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's kind of got a reserve, but he's still going to put his shots into everybody.
Yeah. Oh, just let me know what you want to do, Dave, so I can leave it on a report, leave it on the chief's desk when he gets it here on Monday.
By the book, right? Okay. Yeah. No, I love the dynamic there. And Mike kind of sets both of them up. Like, Dave's willing to listen to everyone and go by the book, and Mooney is not.
But we realize why Mike made that face right away. Because Mooney looks at Mike and he says, I know you. You hang out with the Terenzi brothers, don't you?
Oh, the Terenzi brothers.
We saw the Terenzi brothers right off the bat. There's these two guys. It's basically Danny and Lance in an ice cream truck.
I am not that clever, but okay, or funny.
These two brothers are they got their little startup, and they think that they're going to make a killing by selling ice cream, and it's just like. Wait, sorry, time out. What do we think these kids are Are they out of school? Are they out of high school? Are they all in the college?
All right.
Because I'm like, I just want to know what the thought process is for two brothers who are maybe still in high school who think, you know what? I'll tell you what we need. We need to go and rent a truck and open up our own ice cream business.
With a clown on top of the truck.
I call it JoJo's Ice Cream. More so, actually, I'm going to put a pin in it, but I'm going to get back. I promise I'm going to get back to clown-themed eatery entertainment.
I can't wait because I had the same points to make.
Son of a bitch. Okay. But the Terenzi brothers are these two guys who are on the loudspeaker on their little rent a truck, right? And they got a nice little clown on top of it. And it's just like, honestly, it plays into the movie. Fine. It plays into the movie. We're okay with it because it's Killer Klowns. There's clowns around. Let's throw in some more clown tropes. Here is a clown themed ice cream truck called JoJo's Ice Cream. And they're driving around. Nobody wants to buy their ice cream, but Mike is like telling the audience by way of telling Debbie, he's like, those guys, I love the Terenzi brothers. They're the best, you know? Mm-hmm. And so when fast forward, we get back to what we were just talking about. They're in the police station and they're talking to Mooney and, well, they were talking to Dave and Mooney just comes around. He's like, oh, Killer Klowns, right? He recognizes Mike. He knows that Mike is a little shitbag, or maybe he didn't say that, but I am. And he knows that Mike is associated with the Terenzi brothers, who apparently are always pulling pranks one way or another, being a thorn in the side of the police department. So that's why Mike, as Lance put it, had that like eye roll sort of moment. He's like, oh shit, here comes Mooney. It's also like, you know, it's like, if you feel like you want to get like a pass to leave campus or whatever, you talk to that one assistant principal, you're like, oh shit, that's good. And then here comes the other assistant principal who's like,
damn it. Yeah.
You're like, shit. I'm not going to get any pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it felt like to me.
Terenzi brothers.
The Terenzi brothers.
Well, we got to talk about what this seems to have influenced just 5-10 years later. What do you got in mind, Danny? Because I got something in mind.
Keystone Cops. Nope. Same. That's just 1 year later.
You said clown related to other films.
Pennywise.
Okay.
It 19.
I thought. Okay. This truck, and this is great because it's another. It will end in a horror reference.
Give it to me.
The truck, the theme of these boys reminds me so much of.
I got it.
What is it?
Go ahead.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Oh, I didn't have it.
Clown Dog. Do you remember the movie?
Clown, and he drives around at the end professing his love.
Yes. And that I'm like, there's a huge influence. There has to be like the absurdity of Clown Dog.
Yeah.
Huh?
You said 5 years, right?
91?
Yeah. It less.
3 years.
88, yeah.
Excuse me, Danny.
No. Because I went too far. I thought you were going to talk about Sweet Tooth or...
okay. No. I am talking about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Clown Dog, the absurdity of Clown Dog and working at a fast food restaurant like Clown Dog, the van, and I don't remember the character's name, driving around, confessing his love. But the horror reference is Danielle Harris was in that movie.
Quit your job.
Oh my God, she was awesome in that movie. And that's where my infatuation actually started, was that movie. Oh, yes. So I feel like there was some influence from this film over to others. But Can
I please, Lance? Can I please?
Please.
Can I talk really quick? We're going to... we love it here. We're going... Everything is fine. The opening credits is a problem. I mean, we've been jumping around. It's okay. The opening credits feature, and as well as into the movie, feature a damn burger joint themed after clowns. Big Top Burger.
Yeah.
Fine. Honestly, I grew up in a town that had a burger place that was called Burgers from Mars. Honestly.
Okay.
I used to get the Jupiter burger. It was chicken.
That's not a burger, but okay.
We're there. Sandwich. Here's the point. Big Top Burger? Fine. I look into interior of Big Top Burger, what they show us, and I want to just scream because of the tablecloths. They're that Party City, really thin, one color, yellow over the table. Fine. Even that is fine. The paper cups and plates look like the burgers taste like chalk. I'm already pissed. And then to top it all off, my heart goes out to anyone who has ever had to work in an establishment that makes you wear the things that you have to wear. Speaking of Ridgemont High.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Where my brain went.
They've got the bow tie with the polka dots. The floor. Okay, this is where
Are you gonna vomit?
I'm not gonna vomit.
Okay, cool.
I'll tell you the pièce de résistance. Any establishment that has bright fluorescent lights, just shoot me instead. Mm-hmm. Instead of asking me to eat in there. Okay, maybe they have bomb ass food, and I actually just need to. Loomis is having a dream right now, by the way. Okay. I just have to like pick it up and go home.
Okay.
You're going to make me eat in there with bright fluorescent lights on this yellow pastel tablecloth cover and clowns? No, I'll starve.
This was reminding me of the Backrooms. Have you ever heard of the Backrooms?
No.
It's a creepypasta.
Oh, okay.
Online.
Yes. I have heard of it.
Okay, great.
It's like the office.
It's the nonstop office cubicles.
Yes,
with
I have heard of it.
Faint yellow paint and then fluorescent lighting the whole time. Yeah, yes. I just like kind of read into that. I get into creepypastas every once in a while, and yeah, that was one I've been kind of like creeping into. That's what it reminds me of. Like I don't want to eat here. That's hell.
I just
that
don't.
is purgatory.
And it's just like it's even more ick because a whole family is set up there. It's like you're not going anywhere, young lady, until you finish your food. First of all, no problem. Don't ever remind me to finish my food because I'm gonna finish it. Okay. But it's just like, I don't know, man. I get this weird ick feeling. It gives me like goosebumps in not the good ones. It gives me the bad chills when I think of like families having to eat and sit down at these like dingy restaurants that have like, it's not gross. And that's the point. It's never gross. It's just off. Everything is just 1 degree off. Where, you know, it's like there's polka dots on like white. That's it. There's polka dots on like a white background with polka dots on it. I want to die. I want to escape.
It's your Backrooms.
I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to escape. Okay. I'm out.
All right.
Let's get back to the Crescent Cove.
Now I know how to terrorize you. Speaking of that, okay, there's one scene in this that I thought was really cool and that belongs in every horror film is when there is a group of alien invaders, zombies, or anything.
Okay.
If there's a group of them, you need to show the sign and you need to show them walking past it. It's like artistically like my favorite scene from the movie is seeing the clowns walk and going like, oh, we're going here now. And now you know everything's set up with one shot. Was it Crescent Cove? Crescent Cove?
Yes, sir.
Crescent Cove sign. It's very obviously done by the crew, painted. Very small sign. You would not see it on the road that it's on when you're driving by. But the clowns walk past it. Now we know that's where we're going. And that is a shot that needs to be in every horror film when a group of attackers is invading the town.
If y'all are watching, you understand. You're like, Danny, we get it. You're bursting at the seams. I get it. I'm sorry. But Lance has miraculously, seamlessly, beautifully segued into one of my favorite scenes in the entire, and unrehearsed. I hope you all know that most of this is just done. Okay. We don't rehearse a lot.
99% of it.
99%. We just go. And that's what's beautiful about this. That scene is wonderful for all the things that Lance just said. But why I like it is because of the amazing, quintessential, I will fight anybody who does not agree that this song accompaniment of the scene is the song of the movie. Bam. Bam. Bum, 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 banana, dana, Dun, 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 dun. I love that song. It's called the Killer Klowns March.
Okay.
Holy shit. I get pumped up. Play that before I run out of the tunnel. I'll get you 200 yards on the ground. Play that as my walkout music. I'll hit a grand slam every time. Pinch hit. Don't give a shit. That song. Dun, 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 dun.
It's probably 4 seconds of the film, but it stands out in my head. I'm a very creative side of this. I look at it. I love the filming, and the lighting and everything. Danny's just added the music in there. I'm like, that pumps me up. Give me 4 seconds of this film. And that's the 4 seconds I want to watch over and over again.
And what's so funny, because that shot is funny, and it's funny, but it, like what Lance said, it's wonderfully shot. It's like, here they go, Crescent Cove, get your shit together because we're about to fuck your shit up, right? But what's so funny is that they're clowns at the end of the day. So they're walking like clowns because they have the big shoes, and some of them do like a little tippy toe and a little saunter. It's so wonderful.
Okay, so that's another thing I got to talk about. The one thing that creeped me out from this movie. These are big heads, big masks, and okay, so they're big heads, kind of big bodied, but you can kind of see the human walking in it.
Yep.
At times, and sometimes they get creative with it, and sometimes they're just struggling with their shoes and stuff, but it comes off creepy. You can tell that there's probably a smaller person with like a bodysuit on. So the way that they walk is this weird kind of creepiness, and I fucking love it so much. It's the one creepy factor to it is the human behind the mask kind of a thing.
Yep.
Is the way that they move at times is actually kind of terrifying. Kind of,
but actually.
I do love it. It does make me happy to just kind of watch them be. We got to talk about the clowns. One of them separates and is actually my favorite clown.
Which is your favorite?
There's no names to them, right? Like there's one. I know one in. Okay, what are the names? Give me a breakdown.
I actually got one only. Yeah.
Is it Clownzilla or?
Oh no.
Okay.
I have Shorty.
Which one's Shorty? The boxing gloves?
Yes.
Boxing gloves?
The short one.
That's the shortest one.
Yeah.
Okay. No, this is a different one. He kind of breaks off on his own at one point.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot of the. From what I could see, only the cast was given names. But yeah, when you order them, as far as like the clowns themselves, it's breaking up. Okay, so you got Slug.
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I'm going to talk.
You know what? Actually, it's just, Clownzilla. Shorty's the one I know because when you order the mask, like I was saying, they do have names to them.
Okay. That makes sense for marketing. But in the movie, there's no names because they don't actually they communicate amongst themselves, but it's not English. It's this weird kind of like synth tone thing that they've got going on. Yeah. It's funny. It's comical. It's a clown thing. But there's one clown that kind of breaks off on his own. He goes into town. He starts to kind of like investigate. He sees like an animatronic, sees people coming, and he starts acting like the animatronic. And he actually sells the place. And people are like, oh, I want to go here. And they go inside and start shopping. He goes in, starts kind of like tearing shit apart. He not terror. He does something that reminds me so much of Terrifier. I'm like, I wonder if Terrifier got inspiration from this movie because that's another clown killer.
Yep.
He does the "Can't See Me" to a little girl.
Oh, that's at the burger place. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So he does the "I can't see you" peekaboo kind of thing, and the girl's like so enticed, like, oh, I want to play with the clown. She starts heading out. The mom kind of pulls her in. This guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're going nowhere until you finish your food. Go ahead.
This clown just kind of like goes on his own mission, kind of learning everything. He ends up in the police station with Mooney. And
oh man, are we going to talk about that scene?
Please, right now is the time.
That, Lance, I've always said that I have found things in movies that are like either redeeming qualities or like this is the scene, this is the moment that is the scariest. You said there's not a lot of really scary moments. Here is your most terrifying moment of Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So this clown, we'll just call him, Swirl because his head, the haircut, I'm back on the hair. He's got like the side skirt, and then he's got like one swirled on top. He almost looks like a cupcake with a candle. Pretty good, actually. Finds his way into the police station, and what I've always thought is like anyone who goes, it reminds me of Halloween 4 when Michael goes. He's like, "Oh, this is what you got." Honestly, nice, really cool. I'm gonna go and destroy your entire police force. He does that. Yes. So here goes Swirly, right? Into the police station. He's like, this is the area that's going to give us the resistance. Okay, sorry. Gonna neutralize it real quick. But that's honestly, the scene's going to play out. I'm going to tell you about it, but it's so beautiful because it never compromises the clown aspect of it. Okay. So at one point, Mooney is like, you're an asshole or whatever. What are you doing? And the clown is just like kind of messy with him. And Mooney's like, oh, really? You got something? And he shows him the flower. He's like, for me. And then he sprays Mooney in the face with water.
Mooney. Yes.
And when you watch it, it's already been established that Mooney is like, Mooney ain't nothing to fuck with. Like, you don't mess with Mooney, right? And this clown does, and Mooney's like dripping with water on his face. He's like, all right, got it. Cool. And he had a fresh cigar in his mouth, as a matter of fact. So the clown ruined the cigar. So Mooney tells him to put his, hands behind his back. He's going to cuff him. He's going to put him in a cell. Puts the handcuffs on Swirly, and hands come apart. Just like Moody's left there with the hands handcuffed, and he's just holding them. And what's so creepy about this is because there's not really a lot of like, not a lot of like score or sound. Just like, just kind of like dark overtones. But at the end of the day, you're seeing a clown that's smiling with like these bright colors. He starts to hop away towards the cells, goes in, pops back out almost to look at Mooney like, coming to get me?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This clown is the creepiest. His facial expressions and everything. Remember that his hands literally just popped off, and Mooney's like, oh, all right, clowns, right? Everybody's talking about clowns. And he goes in there and he starts talking to he doesn't even do anything. He just stands in front of the cellmates, which I thought this was interesting. The people in the cell,
which are the college kids from the beginning,
they do not acknowledge the clown whatsoever. They only talk to Mooney like, hey, when are we going to get out of here? The clown is standing there just looking at him.
Huge, by the way.
Yeah. Massive clown.
Is towering over everyone.
And Mooney says, put your hands up. And the clown goes, he has no hands. What do you want him to do?
And then eventually, new hands spring out.
The hands spring out. The one thing that I've talked about is like the love and care that went into this movie, and producing these clowns was basically the crew just kind of coming up with stuff. When the hands pop off, you can actually see like the glue, and like it's like you can tell that it was gloves. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
You can actually see the indentation. There's no gore. There's no nothing. So it was just kind of funny to see that. But this clown is the one that creeps me out the most.
Yes, and the scene continues. He puts the clown in the cell, and Mooney is about to be bad cop and do something that's not right, right? He says something that's like, when he handcuffs him actually early, he's like, I'm supposed to read you your rights, but you're in Mooney's jail, and you ain't got no rights. So there's like there's like more to wrestle with there with like, the implications of what Mooney is saying versus like the actual killer clown from outer space that he's talking to. Puts it in the cell, and right before he's going to close the door, Mooney gives a really crooked cop sort of big old mag light flashlight he's got, and gives him a nice knock on the back of the head. And all the clown does is a Reagan McNeil, turns his head completely around and looks right at Mooney and just goes, and Mooney's like, I got to close the door. And then Mooney doesn't leave. He starts goading him. And of course, the clown has tricks. Clown it was like a little party favorite. It's a party favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
This town needs an enema.
Nice.
Right? Blows it out. And it's actually a hand that reaches, grabs Mooney by the neck, pulls him into the cell, knocks him out. And we have now arrived at the precipice of the scariest scene in this entire movie. Clowns are obviously taking over. Dave knows it. Mike knows it. Debbie definitely knows it. They all know it except Mooney. And Mooney now has been forced to come to terms with it because, well, we see that he knocks Mooney out and you only assume that the clown's going to end up killing him. Mm-hmm. But when Dave gets there, sees that the other inmates are already wrapped up in cotton candy cocoons, and Dave is kind of looking for Mooney, kind of screaming out to him, Mooney, where you at? And he sees floor prints on the floor, just like of clown shoes. And there you go. He's just kind of looking for Mooney, and then gets back to the bullpen, essentially where both their desks are at. Mm-hmm. And here it comes, folks. He sees Swirly, who's sitting at Mooney's desk. Pause for Loomis shakeout. Hey. He sees Swirly's at Mooney's desk. Mm-hmm. And he is just staring at Dave. And Dave is like really trying to wrestle with what's going on. And he's looking at the Swirly. And then the Swirly just raises someone up next to him as if it is a ventriloquist act with a dummy.
Yeah.
And it's Mooney. Mooney's got the blush little circles on his cheeks. He's got the lines on the side of his jaw, or his mouth rather, that, you know, it's like a crude, crass way of drawing a marionette puppet or a ventriloquist puppet. And it's shown that that's how the clown that's what the clown's doing. It's making Mooney talk. And he does, the first line he does is, "Hey Dave, who's that woman I saw you with last night?" It's just kind of like nonsensical, sort of like, "Oh yeah, what do you want to do?" So he delivers that line. Mooney's kind of like looking back and forth as if he was a dummy or if he was a doll to the clown. And then it's a close up, and here it comes, folks. It is a close up of Mooney, who leans forward, and it's a shot that makes his eyes like shine as he leans forward, and he says, "Don't worry, Dave. All we want to do is kill you." Holy shit. That's your scene, baby.
Talking about influences this movie might have had that makes me think of Independence Day. Release me. No. You know what I mean? The alien cannot speak English, but the alien can speak English through a human.
So this clown could speak English through ventriloquism.
Yes, because everything is about the clowns. Every kill comes through a clown nuance. One thing we'll go back to the beginning. Mike Tobacco and Debbie are running out of the spaceship, and what do the clowns do? They make a balloon animal search dog.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know what? Hey, shout out to Rob Altunis, Rob the balloon guy. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Rob.
Just the talent of the clown of being like, balloon animal dog. Now I got to search dog. And then you literally hear the dog. You know what I mean?
Let's double down. They need to shoot things to neutralize the Debbie and Mike. What do they shoot out? Not bullets. What do they shoot out?
Popcorn.
Thank
you.
Doubling down, tripling down on the tropes. Cotton candy. We got to capture somebody. We want to hold on to him and not kill him. What do we put him in? A balloon.
Exactly.
Like, it's just...
You know what? You know what's fun? Shadow puppets. I'm going to entertain a group of people, and then I'm going to kill them with a T-Rex shadow puppet.
Beautifully actually done in the house at Horror Nights. It's a pretty cool little moment. But I always thought that was terrifying because he just gets everybody.
And this is the moment, the T-Rex shadow puppet is actually the moment that everyone goes like, oh shit, it's real.
Yep.
Because all the characters come in that are left and see it happen. And Dave actually takes a shot. This is my favorite clown that's doing this, actually. Takes a shot at the clown right in the nose. Kills the clown.
He kills Swirly. He kills the marionette clown.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, I keep on saying marionette, or I've been fighting to say marionette.
Yeah.
But it's been the ventriloquist dummy, the one who basically killed Mooney and the rest of the people in the police station. He shoots him. He's been shooting him a few times in the stomach, and he's kind of like giving like a, this hurts, but not really. And I'm going to keep coming. And he's like 6'9" easily. This clown is humongous. 7 foot.
Okay.
10 foot. Okay. Dave is shooting him in the stomach and it's like not really affecting him. And then Dave kind of like gets him in the crosshairs and bam, shoots the clown in the nose and the clown spins into an emerald and evaporates.
Gone. So now we know what it takes to kill a clown. Thank God.
We've talked about Dave's intricate relationship in the essentially main characters, right? We've talked about the Terenzi brothers. Here's the thing about Dave, and you could see him. This is what Dave looks like. He's he's a blonde hair cop. He's a good looking man. He's just gonna be there to help. But the only drawback of Dave is that, he kind of still has a thing for Debbie. We don't know why they broke up. We just know that Debbie and him broke up and she went and rebounded with Mike Tobacco. So it must have been a really bad breakup because, like, if you're ever going to run to Mike Tobacco, you better be fucking insane. But I would be remiss, Lance, if I did not talk about the absolute best scene in the entire movie. I'm talking about the scariest, but I will not let this episode finish without talking about the best scene.
What is that, Danny?
Ooh! Big bad JoJo coming into town. Shorty, the short clown, driving on his little funny bike to drive up onto where there is a biker, an actual motorcycle gang hanging out, right? The MC, a motorcycle club, rather,
yeah.
Right? They're just hanging out. And that is one of the guys. I mean, you would think it's the guy from RoboCop who's like, oh, does it hurt? But it's not him. It's not him. It's another guy who sees Shorty drive up, and here's what's the best part of this scene is that Shorty just kind of like gets off the little funny bike real slow, like, yeah, I've been riding up and down the coast on my hog. And he's like, woo, big bad JoJo coming into town. And here comes this blockhead.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Everything we have ever said about Don Shanks and Michael Myers in Halloween 5, I am taking away and I am putting it into a nice place.
Okay.
Blockhead, whenever I say blockhead, is the biker who gets face to face with Shorty in this scene.
Okay.
That is an actual blockhead.
Okay.
He's a square face and he sees JoJo coming up, right? Well, that's not his name, is Shorty. And he goes up to, he's like, I guess, like canoodling, making out with his girlfriend. He's like, watch this, baby. And he's like the guy who's like, yeah, he's the cut up, right? He's going to make everything happen. And he goes up to him and he's, everyone knows he's going to like be a little dick to the short clown. He's like, can I take a ride, pal? And Shorty just goes, and it's like this noise, right? Can I beep the horn? And this scene always makes me feel for Shorty because he was like, yeah, you can beep the horn if you want to. And he does not beep the horn. Blockhead. He doesn't freaking beep the horn. He takes the bike, which is little, over his head, crashes it down, starts like destroying it. And I'm like, why'd you do that, man?
Yeah.
Shorty, maybe that was the turning point. Maybe that was the moment where he was going to say, you know what? Let's leave these people alone. I'm in with this motorcycle club. Oh. I don't know. Because when he does that, the blockhead is like, I'm sorry. I seem to have broken your bike. And Shorty starts crying. Mm-hmm. Crying to where the ears start moving.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's starting to show emotion.
Yeah. And then jumps away. Out of frame. You don't see him anymore. To where Blockhead's looking up. He's like, where'd he go? And when you see Shorty comes right back into frame and he's got boxing gloves on. Mm-hmm. And if you listen closely, he's saying, put up your dukes. Put up your dukes.
Really?
He's saying it. Yes, he's saying it. But he's like, put up your dukes. Put up your, and then he does a little twirl around. And then this is where it gets kind of scary. Because he goes, Shorty's laughing. He's like, I know what's going to happen. He's like, come on. And here it comes. Blockhead says, what are you going to do? Knock my block off? Well, boom! Shorty, in fact, does.
Knock his block off.
His mother frickin' block off, Lance.
Yeah.
It's such a precision hit. It lands in a trash can, and the initial motorcycle club member who was like, "Ooh," is now, damn, He just has that moment. And I love that moment because, I mean, it's hilarious to me. And then they all get on their bikes and they take off and Shorty is there left laughing. Beautiful scene. One of the scenes that is synonymous with this movie and one of the scenes that is my absolute favorite because of all those things I just mentioned.
Let's talk about my favorite scene. I did mention the walking into town is one of my favorite shots, but my favorite actual scene is when the Terenzi brothers, what was their name? Terenzi brothers crash in. It's in the finale.
Yep.
We got to get to the finale quick. They crash into the spaceship in their huge truck van with a clown on top of it. They take to the loudspeaker and start speaking to the clowns, who basically have everyone captive at this point. They've captured Dave, Debbie, and Mike. And we think that that's the end, but the Terenzi brothers come in and save the day. They start speaking over the microphone. Let me have a moment here.
Do it to it, Lars.
So I was watching this movie. I'm like, this is not my kind of movie. I do appreciate all kinds of horror films. This is not my thing. I was watching this movie, and when they start speaking to the clowns, they are just funny, but they are trying to save their friends. They are trying to save the people that they know. When they talk to the clowns have this emotional moment. They recognize this. Oh, what is this? And you see the clowns' emotions, and then you see their faces drop. And it made me laugh so hard. And listen, life happens. I was having a moment. I was having a day when I was watching this movie, like a down day. When I saw this moment, it meant so much to me because it reminded me why we do Slashers Paradise, why I love horror movies, why the community is so special, and it just made me laugh. I may not have totally enjoyed the entire movie. I do like it in a sense, but this moment of seeing the clowns' faces drop when they see this ridiculous van drive through their spaceship tent and start commanding them made me laugh. It made me emotional. It just was such a moment for me on a bad day. You know what I mean? That I will cherish that 2 minutes of this film forever. And that's why I always will say, I don't hate this film. I don't not like this film. I do like this film in a sense. But that it gave me a moment, and that's what we get in horror films. You know what I mean?
Moments. And that's it. That was beautiful, by the way. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. I mean, it is an incredible moment because they knew, at least if they had nothing else, they had made wonderfully looking creatures that could articulate with different things and faces and stuff.
Man,
I do love that there is a group of clowns, and there is definitely, because there's way more clowns than what we see as, Swirly and Shorty and whatnot. There is way more clowns than that, and some of those clowns are kind of just crassly put together.
Yeah,
some of them have busted fucking wigs and shit. And but anyway, the point is this to say, I love that moment too. If I need to talk about one more scene really quick, it's just going to be that the clowns have uprooted from where they initially landed. So to create doubt when the police are involved. Not that the police are going to be able to do anything anyway, but when Mike and Debbie are like, this is where the clowns are. Dave goes up there and Dave's like, I don't see anything, right? And Mike's like, no, I saw it. It's a fact. And this is one of the things I love about Dave is his sort of he gets these moments to be like, I'll tell you what, mister, you said there was bodies. Now where are the bodies, right? It's just Dave is very much procedure, and he is the guy. Honestly, Lance, I'm going to put him in there with that wrecking crew with Meeker and Brackett and all of them. I'm going to throw Dave in there, man, because Dave never lost his cool. He wanted to go at the clowns, and he was ready to sacrifice himself. Dave's a fucking man, dude.
Dave is the man, and this is the actual like hero moment of like, why weren't we following him the whole time? Why didn't you set him up the whole time?
Right. They did this weird thing where it's like, well, if they broke up, it's for a reason. Dave is probably like an asshole. Well, just, you know, and Dave has this moment where he's like, it doesn't change how I feel about you, Debbie. You know, he's kind of like this old like hit, you know, rockabilly sort of thing. Anyway, getting back.
Yeah.
So where that spaceship has been uprooted and it needs to land somewhere else. Innocuous, inconspicuous. Yeah. So if you were a clown, where would you land or where would you hide? The amusement park. So you see it. They're cruising down. It looks like the PCH as if they were like on their way to like Santa Cruz or something. The boardwalk. All of you off the boardwalk. Boom. Lost Boys quote. What do you want? But you see as they're driving, and it could be Santa Monica, honestly, doesn't matter. But anything that's like off on the coast that has like carnival games-ish. And there it is glowing, emanating in the night. And you're like, that doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. But as they're heading that way, the clowns get there first and they meet a security guard. One of my favorite scenes of the whole moment, because the security guard's like, the park's closed. Here's another clown trope that they're able to work with. They all get there in a small car, and all of these fucking clowns get out of it. It's like, it's, you know, the clowns in a small car.
Clown car. Yeah.
Clown car. And then the security officers just kind of looking at him, seeing what's going on. And then it cuts back to all the clowns that are now out of the car, and they're all just holding pies. And some of them are like pointing at the pies, like, you're going to get it.
Oh, yeah. The little guy.
And yeah. And then you hear the song is loading. It's like silence. Security. What are you gonna do with those pies, boys? They just start loading up and hitting him all over the place with all these pies, and there goes the song. Okay, he got pied. That's one thing. He's actually getting pied with flesh-eating pies.
Acid pies, yeah.
Yeah, acid pies. Yep, absolutely. So I love that scene. Ultimately, it's leading to our finale, our final encounter with the Terenzi brothers saving them from all the clowns. But
so we think.
If it was just all those clowns, that would be one thing. But if you have to create a big bad boss, you might as well create something that is crazy. And that was one of the additional taglines of this movie. It's crazy with 3 A's. They meet by way of, this is like unveiling on this like, whatever. It looks like almost like a reverse Jack in the Box. They meet
Clownzilla.
Zilla.
Sorry, I ruined it, but
Clownzilla.
I said it earlier, so I kind of already ruined it.
You did.
This was supposed to be like a huge CGI clown, but we kind of ran out of budget. So this is actually the director, I believe.
Well, they did force perspective, right?
Yeah.
So he could look bigger than he was.
But this is actually somebody in a suit, and it's actually the director, which is one of the, what are their
Kyoto brothers.
Kyoto brothers, Steven, off the top of my head. He's actually playing this huge clown. Again, going back to my moment in this movie, my favorite moment, where the clowns are expression like, oh, that's cool. They have the exact same expression like, that's cool. Now look at that. And that's when Clownzilla comes down epically to just terrify you even more. Like, you thought these clowns were scary. You thought you were getting out of here and you got the best of us. Look at this guy.
Yeah, Clownzilla is not to be fucked with. Dave honestly says, y'all aren't going to survive this. Get Debbie out of here. Get yourself out of here, Mike, because you're worthless. Just get out. And Clownzilla's already, like, for what you see, killed the Terenzi brothers in the ice cream truck. You think, oh, they didn't survive that because he just threw it and they blew up. So Mike is like, look, I know how to defeat the clowns. I just got to blow up his nose. Essentially, that's what he's thinking internally. Sends Debbie and Mike out of here. The cops have got there, and now Dave is in the clutches of Clownzilla. You think he's not going to survive. Simultaneously, the spaceship is starting to spin, and it looks like a top now, which it was never supposed to be a tent. It was like a top. And it's spinning, and you're thinking, of course, if you're clown aliens, your spaceship UFO that is like by the myth rotating would look like a top, right? Yeah. And it's starting to leave, and you're thinking, damn, Dave is going to go up with the clowns. He's going to go wherever they're going. And Dave is in the clutches of the Clownzilla, and Dave doesn't have his gun, doesn't have anything, but it manages to get loose, kind of like King Kong-ish in the clutches, gets his badge and knocks the nose of Clownzilla into, shreds it into smithereens, busts it essentially. And what works for the goose works for the gander. Clownzilla is now going to spin into a emerald like the other ones have and essentially explode, not only exploding himself, but exploding the entire ship.
What a movie.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Because it's that moment where they're like, oh, damn. The cops are like, what the fuck are we looking at? You know, it's like there's always that awkward moment where like the sane people who have no context get to like the shit.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, oh, dang. There really is a serial killer. Oh, dang. There really is demons that are attacking you, whatever the case may be. And it's like, it's that moment where you're like, we've defeated the monster, but we also need to kind of like reconcile with what's left over. And in this case, the Terenzi brothers are dead and Mike is dead.
Mike Tobacco's dead.
I said Mike, right?
You said Mike?
Dave. Dave and the Terenzi brothers are dead.
There you go. You wish Mike had died instead
Maybe
of
that's
Dave.
just me like kind of like
Yeah.
foreboding.
Yeah.
Or like trying to put my, yeah, I wish he was.
Well,
Are they, Lance?
well, I'm sure now with all this success and hype, they're going to make a sequel.
Well, I meant though, are the Terenzi brothers and are Dave?
Well, that's what I'm saying is the sequel would tie that up, right?
Yeah. It would.
What's going on? What?
Are they dead? Are the Terenzi brothers and Dave dead?
I don't
Do you
know.
remember the end of it?
No, I don't.
Oh, shit.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say the Terenzi brothers, when their van gets thrown and blown up, you don't see them in the actual van.
No, you
You
don't.
don't see a body. You don't see anything.
You just hear, after the spaceship explodes, you hear, and here's the clown car. Clown car just appeared. Do you remember this part? Now I could see the
It's
realization
calculated.
happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Clown car falls, and it's Dave. And here's what I love so much about this deal. Dave is alive, one. And two, he has the wherewithal to get out of the clown car and close it behind him. He's like, oh, just close this. It's like, shit, Dave's alive. And then also in the clown car, popping out full of confetti, glitter, ice, cream, cold, both the Terenzi brothers. So if we are keeping track, folks, Mike, Debbie, Dave, and the Terenzi brothers have all survived. The Terenzi brothers survived because they got into the freezer with the ice cream when the Clownzilla attacked their van.
Ice defeats fire.
Yes.
So
And then the final scene, the final moment, they're looking up, Debbie, Mike, and Dave, and they're like, it's over, right? Yeah, sure. That's what Mike says because he's an idiot. He doesn't know any better. And they get drenched with pies. And now the movie's over.
what a movie.
I wish it was honestly acid pies at that moment, but only for Mike.
I was thinking the same thing. Like that would be the hilarious ending is like they still get the acid pies on. I actually thought that's what it was when I was watching it. Like, oh, they acid pies and now they die. Like the last laugh goes to the clowns.
I love that at one point you were like, yeah, that's good enough. That's exactly where that movie should have ended. And it probably should have ended with the UFO blowing up with Dave being the hero.
So many chances, but no.
But no. Thank God Dave is still alive because I do not want to live in a presumed Killer Klowns universe where Mike Tobacco is the survivor. He didn't do shit. Anyway, sorry.
Danny, do you have anything else about this movie?
Besides how wonderful the score is, besides how...
we didn't even talk about the main song. There's a song, Killer Klowns.
Oh, right. Yes, by the Dickies.
By the Dickies. Conveniently says Killer Klowns in the song. It's called Killer Klowns. The Dickies did not know about this film, did not see this film. They wrote the music, they wrote the song, and the production company's like, hey, that fits our movie. You're going to be a part of it now.
Hell yes!
What convenience in 1988.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? We got a movie called Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Is there anything that we can get as far as like an opening track? Ooh, how about a song that is called Killer Klowns?
There it is.
Great song, by the way. It's part of my Halloween playlist.
This movie just seemed to like just come together. Like it was just fate that people that cared would make a movie, and 34 years later, we're still talking about it. It's still relevant. It has a bigger cult following than ever. And who knows where the story's going to go from here.
We know that, I mean, there's obviously the video game, like you mentioned, and it's featured in some haunts. But there's been some folks that have asked for a sequel, but I don't think it needs it. I think it's done.
Good. I love that you said that, because I am becoming more and more on that train of just end it and let it be good, then expanding it and spreading it out.
The final one needs to be good. That's where I agree. Yes, I definitely agree with you. The final thing needs to be good.
Good luck. If you make something great, are you? You always ask me the question. You always ask me the question. Go ahead and ask me the question. Do you like to make more money?
Yes. Do you like to make more money? Because if so, T2, T3, Salvation, and so on. That's what happens.
Danny, how many ray guns do you give Killer Klowns from Outer Space?
I am very much happy to announce that for Killer Klowns from Outer Space, I will give it a beautiful 4 ray guns. I
do not hate this movie. I do not like this movie. I only will give it 2 ray guns. I am understanding it. I may come back in another episode down the line and bump it up to a 3, but for right now, it's only a 2. I did have a great moment in this movie. I do like this movie. If you are a huge horror fan, watch it, get into it. But that's where I'm at for now. For now, things can change. I will always remember my moment from this film, though.
Wow. 2.
Damn.
That's fine, Lance. That's fine.
Yeah. It's got to be what it is, you know?
Yep.
All right. Until next time, that's Danny. I'm Lance, reminding you to
lock your doors,
bolt your windows.
And what are you going to do with those pies, boys?
And join us next time in our Slasher's Paradise.
Whatever dukes. Hey. Did you see anything you like?
Thanks for watching Slasher's Paradise tonight. Please hit the like and subscribe button and turn on all of your notifications so you know the next time we post a video or go live.
And if you'd like an audio-only version of the show, search for us on wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all the platforms. We just ask that you leave a rate and review of 5 stars. And if you don't know what to write in the review section, put a recommendation of a horror movie you would love for Lance and I to talk about.
Yes, and if you'd like to get the full experience of Slasher's Paradise, including videos and audio all together, go to deadcandy.com, that's DEDCANDY, or go to youtube.com/deadcandy. Here's to you guys.
This is Slasher's Paradise! Sorry, I had to work that in.
And I'm going to drink on that.
Blended Canadian.